Cool. So I'm just going to explain who I am again in case we use this video later. So my name is Billy. I am the Vice President of Nutrition Communication, and it is me and Kelly is the founder of Green Juju. And so our company is based in Seattle. Our products are made in Oregon. One of the things we'll kind of talk about towards the end, not any specifics about that, but some neat stuff I think that you guys will be excited about. I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, to say that correctly, recently. So it is nice because we have someone on the East Coast and someone on the West Coast. So you stores on the East Coast, we are here for you as well. And I'm very happy to be around you guys. We love it here. So Green Juju was formed because Kelly's dog Bailey was dealing with a very rare joint tumor, and she wanted to get Bailey ready for surgery because she was dealing with a lot of health issues. And so she was looking for a product that in her mind would be like Just Greens, which didn't exist on the market. So one of the things that's really cool about Green Juju is that we were really the first company to do this concept of this vegetable blend and bring that to a larger market in the pet food industry. And the nice thing is I can tell you guys why we do it differently and why I would say we do it better. And why, for instance, I've been using the product basically since 2014. Obviously, I've been with the company since June, but have been a user of the product for much longer than that. So, so she took it into her own hands, as a lot of us are here because we have dogs that we love and cats that we love. And so, I have a similar story, in my career and my focus for my first dog. And so out of that, love and out of that devotion and came Just Greens, which she was looking for something at the time that was not a pill or powder or, synthetic vitamins, this substance that was taken out because it's good for cancer. She was looking for whole food like we know animals need, and like we know humans need. My favorite way to break that down is food is made up of many, many chemicals, and the body knows how to break those down when they're in their natural state. And that's where we need to leave them, because humans, tend to think they know more than they do about that sort of thing. And so that's really what we're all about here, is that original vision of creating something that is a shorter ingredient panel that is just made of whole foods that gets better health outcomes. And that's all of our products. So we're going to go through the frozen products, then we're going to go through the freeze-dried products, then we're going to go through the new products that were just released. And we'll go over the specifics of why we make each one. Then we'll go over how I think, that applies to your customers. So it started with Just Greens, which is a vegetable blend. All of our blends feature a bone broth. This one has bison bone broth and coconut oil. So both of the first two that we're going to talk about are green blends. So they're different ways to achieve a similar goal. Now that goal, we know I think we know in our gut that whole foods, that unprocessed foods are just better in general. But now we know from a lot of supporting research that's coming out, one of the flagship things that I think we always mention is the 2005 Purdue University study that showed that animals that eat kibble diets, that get dark leafy greens 3 times a week, were 90% less likely to get the cancers that they were specifically looking at. Now, yellow and orange, when we get into the golden blend later, was 70% less likely. So if that's not a reason to have your customers feed Green Juju, I don't know what is, because no company can say, oh, we guarantee this health outcome. But what you can do is increase the probability that your customers' dogs are going to have better health outcomes. And that's really why we're here. So that would be a reason to do that right away, because Green Juju's #1 customer is the person who's feeding kibble that just wants to do something. They just want to add something in. They just want to add that something on top to make their animal healthy, but they have budget issues, or they just are weirded out by anything that's, raw meat and that kind of stuff. Or, it's just a paradigm thing or whatever it might be. I mean, you've heard all the excuses, right? In terms of how, why people don't feed more fresh and raw foods. And so that's our number one customer. So, it'd be really great. The other thing too about this blend, and I think this will be a good sort of lead into Bailey's blend, is when you look at the ingredients here, celery, zucchini, kale, dandelion greens, parsley, which is very high in antioxidants. These are things that are not, it's not a huge education to get someone to understand that these are healthy ingredients. This, unlike a lot of products in the pet food industry, is something that is really self-evident. People already know that these things are healthy. And so when your customers come in and say, I'm going to, buy their bag of kibble, it can be a really easy thing to say, hey, all dogs need some unprocessed food. Look at this great blend. It's like a smoothie for your dog, and all you got to do is, scoop some and put it on there. You'd be surprised, I think, the number of people who would be like, okay, I'll try it. And then obviously their dog's going to love it because, when you're developing products like this, it's nutrition, it's consistency, and palatability. And Kelly really nailed it on all three of those things, in developing this. So you get all of the wonderful antioxidant content from the things that I just mentioned. You also get, and we'll go more into bone broth when we go into the actual bone broth itself, but you also get the bone broth and the coconut oil. In this case, the bone broth, or I'm sorry, the coconut oil is not only going to give you those wonderful medium chain and longer chain fatty acids like caprylic acid, capric acid, and lauric acid, which are all very, very healthy fats, especially for metabolism and energy. But it's also going to help to regulate, healthy fats help to regulate the blood sugar of the whole diet to get all together, both, in humans and in dogs and cats. So that is going to do this as well. This and the Bailey's blend are 3% net carbs. So they are very low carb. And so they're giving in these, the whole purpose of these blends is to get things that plants are good at. Plants are really good when it comes to dogs at antioxidants. Plants are good at fiber. Plants are good at minerals. Plants are good at vitamins. What they're not good at is fat and protein, typically. I would say that coconut oil is like the exception to that rule, but what they're not good at is fat and protein. But that's not what we're looking for here. That's the other part of the diet. This is something to add in to get those extra health benefits, which I know I'm very excited to feed my new dog starting a week from today. So I'll probably mention that like 6 more times throughout this training. So you'll have to bear with me on that. I've been dogless since August, so feels like longer than that. So as I mentioned, in going through these two blends, you'll see the ingredient panel in this one is obviously different, but so you see the cucumbers, you see the cabbage, you see the broccoli. So you're getting all these different antioxidant types. So now a reason you'd suggest either one to the customer, is their dog looking for something specific? Are they looking to add in broccoli versus something else? Then you might go for this specific blend. Are they interested in turkey bone broth versus bison bone broth? Do they have an allergy to one of those things? Do they have a perceived allergy to one of those things? Which, in my opinion, are as common as real allergies. So, but it's all about finding what's right for your customer. Now, if there's not any of those issues, obviously I recommend rotating between those two things, because then you're getting all of those different health benefits. The other part that's really cool about rotating between these is one of the hallmarks for a great microbiome, and the microbiome research is just like, everywhere now. But one of the things we know is that your microbiome will be healthier and more diverse in bacteria if it's healthier and more diverse in plant matter, because there's more types of fiber. There's more diversity there to feed those bacteria. So that would be a great reason to do this. And one thing that's definitely special about the Bailey's blend here is it does have the ability to self-ferment in the refrigerator. So Kelly was so brilliant that she made a product that was fermented and she didn't even know it. And so when I came on, I smelled it after 10 days and said, boy, that smells like acetic acid. By the way, acetic acid actually helps regulate your blood sugar as well. So it's that smell you smell when you smell pickles and fermented foods like that. So this product has organic green cabbage as the second ingredient and lemon as the last ingredient. So the organic green cabbage is where that's the inoculator. So that's where you're gonna start to get that host of good bacteria. Actually, when people do a wild ferment, they actually do they use cabbage a lot as the bacteria, the probiotics to start that. The lemon is the acidifier, which is going to bring the pH down and make it so those good bacteria are the only ones that are able to grow. So this product here is I just think this is so cool. It's the only self-rotating product on the market. So you can feed this fresh for 8 days. It takes about 8 days on average to become fermented. So my recommendation is buy the largest container, feed it fresh for 8 days, and then you have another 2 weeks after that 8 days and it'll be fermented, which you get a different nutrient profile. So be more probiotics, be more pre-digested, which will produce more organic acids, more enzymes, more vitamins to be able to do that. Two of my favorite things in this are the cilantro and the blueberries, both of which we know are very high in antioxidants. Blueberries are a very well-studied part of, antioxidant. If you're looking at something like you don't have to remember this, but the ORAC score, which is a way of measuring antioxidant activity, blueberries are always a hallmark of some things that people talk about there. So these two products are really great to rotate between. This one has the turkey bone broth. These come in 7.5, 15, and 30 ounce containers. So we will get into the golden blend obviously at the end, which we're very excited about. So side note there. And by the way, this is our website. So I do it on the website because I think it's good to familiarize yourself with what your customers will actually be looking at, because this is what people do. If they're really interested in finding out, they go on their phone and they look at it in the store or whatever it might be. So go ahead and peruse that. It's also a good time for me to tell you about, we do have a YouTube channel, which is going to have, these long form trainings on it, but it also has my monthly lives on it. It has interviews with me and Kelly from other channels. Most importantly, it has short training videos. So for your staff, it has 5 to 10 minute training videos where you can go there. And I know that a lot of staff, you just don't have the time to train them in this long form sort of way. So those 5 to 10 minute videos really come in handy. So just go to YouTube and type in Green Juju. And if you think of any questions after this, you can obviously reach out to any of us. By any of us, I mean me or Kelly. So either at info@greenjuju.com or William at greenjuju.com. So we have a bison bone broth, which we've had for a few years, and this product is really incredible. So when we talk about the manner in which these bison are raised, these are 100% grass-fed, which means grass-fed and finished. So they're eating 100% grass diet. These are the most, the farm that we get these from is the most ethical processor that I've ever seen in a farm. And I have been to a lot of farms. So they actually do field processing, which means they don't get into a truck. They don't have the stress hormones of that. It's basically an instantaneous processing. So they don't have any stress surrounding that. And as I talk about a lot and have talked about a lot in the past, even though we're raising these animals for food, it doesn't mean they don't deserve dignity and respect, and to eat their actual diet, not only for them, but for the health of the animal. So that's where we get our bison bones from, which, I'm just really, really proud of. So we also are putting the turmeric and ginger here anti-inflammatory part of this. But bone broth in general is an absolutely amazing food. So the first thing you need to know about bone broth, which is very underestimated, is remember it's not just always the amount of protein that your dog or cat is getting, because this is great for cats as well. It's the quality of protein. So these proteins are in free amino acid form, which means that the body uses them and the kidney doesn't have to filter out any waste. So number one, great for animals with kidney problems. Number two, this is the coolest thing, especially for senior animals. So this protein is so efficient that it actually reduces the body's need for protein in general. So with your senior dogs, protein can go longer. And the reason that happens again is because when you're eating protein in free amino acid form, it just goes much further than when your body has to actually convert it. So, and this is I've read figures up to 40% on this in terms of reducing that. It would depend on the amount, but this is just such a great thing. Also a great thing for that specific type of protein, collagen, which is the number one thing in your dog or cat's body, that's holding them together. Also great for those joint nutrients, glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, all of those healthy acids there. Collagen is great for digestion. All of these things are couched in a high moisture environment. Like this one is 96% moisture, right? So all of those minerals, all those things are suspended in that moisture and are much more applicable to the body, including things like phosphorus, that people are scared of in specific situations. They are easier to assimilate. So bone broth is one of those things that every dog should get from puppyhood all the way up till the end. And, for myself, I've been using bone broth. I had used bone broth on my own dog to fix many things throughout the years because her genetics starting out were not very good. And so just in my own life even has been a wonderful thing. So if you can get your kibble users to, let's say, use our bison or duck broth and then use one of the blends, imagine how much healthier their dog would be in regards to that. So I just love the quality of this product. And, I think it's a great way to round out our frozen line. I'm also really excited. We'll talk about the duck broth, but I'm excited for you guys as well, because I know that it's sort of hard in situations to sell a one-off product in your freezer. Because I understand. I've been in many stores and you kind of maybe put that thing to the side because you have, 4 of this. And so I think the duck and the bison bone broth will go really well together in your freezers. Especially those of you that have the freezers with, the additional items, that add to raw diet or kibble diet. And I don't want to necessarily miss out on the fact that our blends and our bone broth are a great addition, not only to kibble, but to complete and balanced raw diets. So this is going to, if you're using, let's say your customer or you found the best commercial raw you could find, this is going to make it healthier. So my recommendation on that is to start with the recommended dose of either one of these for the blends, and then you can adjust from there if you need to. Now with the bone broth, and this comes in 20 ounces. The bone broth is, the suggested dose is 1 ounce per 10 pounds, but you can always do more than that if you want to. I know with my puppy that I'm getting, I'm going to do more than that right off the bat. So it just depends on what you want to do there, but I would do at least that recommended dose. Now with the blends, the best thing for you to do, I think, for you to tell your customers to do, because most people aren't like, crazy person like me and measuring everything out. I'm sure there are some of you out there, but these are great. No animal's going to become overweight and you're not going to unbalance a diet from our blends or our bone broth. So, one of the things that we love to talk about here is the plop. So large plop, take the spoon, large plop for large dog, medium plop for a medium dog, small plop for, you guessed it, a small dog. So, that's an easy way to tell people, look, it's easy. All you do is take a spoon and put some on there. And especially with the bone broth, why not just put some in to make it, more, to put more of that moisture, more of those nutrients. And what I'm getting at is that it can be easy for people because that is a barrier. So something to consider there. So we're going to move on to the freeze-dried products here. And I will tell you that one of the one of the big reasons I actually wanted to join Green Juju was, one, I wanted to be able to affect the diets of many animals. So, and many of those animals have parents that will not go in the freezer, and they just, for whatever reason, be it takes too much time, be it it's a budget thing, be it, all those things we talked about. And having been in frozen for so long, I just wanted to get into a space where I could do those, really cool frozen products, but we could also do products that are freeze dried, because we just don't want to exclude all of those people that just, another good example of this I like to give is, let's say you have someone who normally buys their food at a grocery store, but it's their dog's birthday, and so they're coming in for a toy or something like that. What if you got them to use this instead of grocery store treats? I mean, that would be a huge upgrade in their diet. That would be huge. You'd probably be lowering the carbohydrate content in their diet significantly. So these are things that we can all, little things. And I'm a big fan of little steps, So these treats, in my opinion, are amazing. So what we do here is we take organ meat. So in this case, you can see it on your screen right now, hearts and liver. So this beef is 100% grass-fed and finished. So again, you're getting that 100% grass-fed animal. So you're going to have a better mineral profile. You're going to have, a better fat profile. You're going to have more vitamin content. You're going to have, more omega-3 to a better omega-3 to 6 ratio. So we take hearts and liver. This one is 85% hearts and liver. They come in 3 and 7.5 ounce packages. So what we do with these is we actually pair them with specific food types that have specific colors. We do that because those colors are specific antioxidants in nature. So anytime you see a different color, that's a different food antioxidant, be it in animal food or especially plant food. So in this case, we're pairing it with carrots, beets, and turmeric. Now, so you get not only organ meat, when you look at it, heart and liver is going to be way more nutrient dense than muscle meat. So the liver is going to be the most nutrient dense food basically on the planet. Hearts are going to have more minerals, are going to have better, different and more vitamins than muscle meat. It's going to have more collagen. So we pair those with these really strong antioxidant types, which, just makes for a really great and also really palatable treat, because that's really important. And let's not skim over the fact that cats love these treats. So we've had very good results. I know that some of you may be thinking like, yeah, well, my cat does it. And I understand that, because cats are really hard to figure out. So, but the results we've gotten have been really good. So you'll also notice the vitamin E preservative we use here. Something very special about that. And it started with Kelly's own dog and her, who, was having health issues, her current dog, Bambi. And it started with, and it continues for all of us. And how do we continually tweak our pet's diet to get healthier and healthier? We're all, in the process of that at all times. And so Bam, I just lost my train of thought. What was it? That happens like at least 48 times when I'm talking typically. You're lucky, because it happens more when I'm on stage. So at least I'm just on a computer here. So Bam was having issues and yes, there you go. Thank you, Kelly. Really appreciate that. So Kelly was looking for, having issues with freeze-dried foods and seeing these foods that had these mixed tocopherols. And so she actually sought out a non-GMO version of this vitamin E. So this is a natural form of vitamin E as a preservative. And most vitamin E on the market is, and she actually consulted with her vet as well, that was having experiences with animals having issues with freeze-dried food. And so one of the really cool things is we go the extra mile and we actually have a non-GMO vitamin E as a preservative, which is very unique to, and just shows a lot about, the lengths that Kelly will go to get a product that is just really the best on the market. So all of these are going to feature that non-GMO vitamin E. So we also have one of my personal favorites, Bison Green, which again is at 100% grass-fed and finished bison. This is going to be 96% bison, heart and liver. Again, going back to what I was talking about with the nutrient density there. These come in 2.5 and 6 ounce containers. And then this is paired with kale, dandelion greens, kelp. So you're getting all of those green foods, which we just talked about. So now imagine you're feeding our greens. You're also getting these treats in the mark, and you're getting not only, a lot of animals need more organ meat. Most animals are deficient in vitamin D. Organ meat contains a bunch of retinol vitamin A, which is that real true vitamin A. And so you're just getting all of those things to, again, increase those health outcomes. They're also very low in carbohydrates, obviously. So it's very good for really to go along with any diet, to reduce the carbs or to go with a low carb diet, which is what, most animals should be on anyway, if they're a dog or a cat. So speaking of cats, this is the one I see a lot in cat sections, treat sections. This is our wild caught Alaskan salmon, which is very, close to our hearts, because being in Seattle and salmon is a big deal there. Having lived in Seattle for 5 years, you see a lot of salmon. Although weirdly, there's something in Seattle called the Seattle dog, which is a hot dog. So everywhere has their own hot dog, but the Seattle dog is cream cheese and jalapenos. So if it's actually pretty good, but I don't know if that sounds good to you guys or bad to you, but that's just a random fact about Seattle. So this is going to have salmon in it. That was a complete non sequitur. So this is going to have salmon in it, and that salmon is going to act like organ meat. So it's going to be high in vitamin A and D. It's going to be high in those B vitamins. It's going to be high in those healthy fats. In this one, we're looking for the dark blue, kind of purple realm of antioxidants. So you got that organic purple cabbage, organic blueberries, and organic fenugreek. I have a funny story about fenugreek. I used to grow fenugreek sprouts, and one time I thought my dog had diabetes because she smelled her whole body smelled like maple syrup, and I was like, what is this? And apparently fenugreek is what they use as a natural flavoring for like maple syrup flavored things. So side note, if you have a pug and want them to smell like reek of maple syrup, then do that thing. So we also have on that list another highly palatable treat. These are great. They're actually our bison liver trainers. These are only bison. That's that 100% grass-fed finished bison. So this is available in 3 ounces. We do have a new shape, which is more easy to break up, which is nice. And these are great for training. They're highly palatable, highly motivating, and again, more animals typically need more foods like this, more organ meats, more high density foods, and so this is a really great way to do that as well, to be able to do that. So we are going to now talk about our new products, which I'm very excited about. There will be time for questions at the end if people have them, and I'm gonna shut the chat window here, but I will go back into it in case anyone does. So we'll start with this. Basically, we'll go through the thought process. I always like to give you guys a little bit of a insight into how pet food products kind of maybe are made, but also, how this one was kind of like dominoes falling. So with our frozen golden blend. So we really wanted to be able to get into that realm of that study that I mentioned earlier with the 70% reduction in the cancers they were looking at for yellow and orange vegetables. So this is a really cool blend. Obviously, it includes squash, but it also includes cauliflower for more of those sulfur anti-cancer compounds. My favorite thing about it is those golden beets, because beets are such a mineral rich, antioxidant high vegetable. I love the apple cider vinegar in here again you have the double healthy for your blood sugar part of this with the coconut oil and the apple cider vinegar. You have the anti-inflammatory with the ginger and the turmeric in there. We also have our duck bone broth in there. So again, you have a cooling bone broth. So we do have a duck bone broth in here. So this blend is going to be great to rotate through. It's going to be great to, for those that prefer this, over a green blend. This is going to be available, and this is available now, I guess, in 15 and 30 ounces. For me, this is the number one cool thing to replace the people who buy pumpkin. So what do we buy when, so many people feed pumpkin daily for digestive health, and so many people get it when their animal has, digestive issues. But if you think about this, the butternut squash in this is going to do the same thing as the pumpkin, and you're getting the celery, the duck bone broth, the cauliflower, the golden beets. You're getting all of those things. You're getting a better diversity of plants for a better microbiome. You're getting all those wonderful things. So this will be a way better go-to to be able to do that. And keep in mind too, you can, take this out and refreeze it into smaller portions. You can do that however you want. I do want to make sure everyone knows the Bailey's blend will self-ferment in the refrigerator. The golden blend and the Just Greens will not. So don't do that. Those are normal, fresh shelf life. And the cool thing is about that is that it's not like fermented foods are necessarily better than fresh foods. They just offer different nutrient profiles. So the cool thing is you can kind of go between those things. So we were doing this and we were thinking to ourselves, okay, we have this duck bone broth in here because one of the things we love to do is more novel proteins. For dogs with allergies, we want as many animals to enjoy the stuff as possible. So then we thought, well, why don't we do a duck bone broth then? Well, that seems pretty normal. So then that's how this came about. Now we have the 20-ounce duck bone broth, which again is going to be on the cooling aspect of the Chinese medicine scale versus the neutral for the bison bone broth. But this is great for animals with allergies. With both of these broths, you're going to see that they're going to be jelly, and you're actually going to see the collagen there. And so all of the health benefits I went over with bone broth, obviously you're going to get here. And this is another great option for that. So then we thought, well, if we're doing that, why don't we do a duck treat? So now we're focusing on those orange nutrients. So we have, I have to move this thing in here. So we have our butternut squash, our carrots, our turmeric, our fenugreek seed. So you'll see that these are very vibrant orange when you get them into your store. So these, and plus, we didn't plan it this way, but these are like, adorable for fall. So we didn't know that was going to be the case, but they are. We all know it. And so, it's a great thing to feature right now, at your store in the month of November, that kind of thing. I don't want to tell you how to run your stores, but that's what I would do. With this, we again feature, a high amount of that duck liver in there. These are going to be softer because duck is typically higher in fat. So you're getting all those wonderful nutrients, and then you're getting more of those orange nutrients that we talked about through those whole foods. And you notice that one of the things that I love about all of our products is, we don't skirt the line with natural products. What I mean by that is we don't put things in to get a specific consistency. Like we don't make a natural product and then go like, oh, let's put this gum in here to get, this consistency in the treat. All we want to do is put whole foods that are functional, and all of them have a specific nutrition purpose as well as, what the treat actually looks like. So this is, I think, keeping true to that truly holistic short ingredient panel part of this. So we also have newly, and this is kind of the outlier here. This is not in the line of dominoes that got us all of these duck products. This is a freeze-dried version of Just Greens. So I will tell you the first part about this is we made this. We actually don't just order freeze-dried powders. So we actually make Just Greens. We get in the vegetables like we do for our frozen blends, blend them up, and then freeze dry it. So what we're getting there is more assurance that we know the product is what the product actually says it is right on there. So this is, it's a little bit different. Some notable changes here are it does not have any bone broth. So you can rehydrate this with water, but bone broth is even better. You can pick whichever bone broth works better for your dog in that case. This also has coconut flour and coconut oil. So with the flour, you're going to get some more fiber there. You're going to get some residual protein. You're going to get some things like that. And with the coconut oil as well. And then the big star here is the nettles. So Kelly used to make seasonal blends for those of you on the West Coast when she was a smaller company, could do things like that. And she used to have a lot of demand for her nettle blends because itchy dogs would get so much better because it's such a potent antihistamine and is a very medicinal plant in general. So I know we're very excited to get these nettles into the mix here. With these packages, they come in 1.75 and 5.5 ounce containers. Now the 5.5 ounce bag makes 3 15-ounce containers when rehydrated, and the 1.7 ounce makes one 15-ounce container. Now the cool thing about these is normally freeze dried is like typically more expensive, obviously than your frozen products. This is actually right on in terms of price. So if you have someone who, you don't have to break the bank to do this. This is great for those people that won't go in the freezer. It's also great for the people who will go in the freezer and just want to add variety. It's also great for those people that are going camping or people that are just traveling in general, or, I think it's very useful either way. And there's also studies that show that, freeze dried and frozen vegetables and certain fruits actually retain more of their nutrient content. So it depends on the food when you're talking about that, but definitely with plants, that is definitely the case in a lot of ways there. So this is a really great one to try as well. And by the way, if you guys want any of this imagery, if you email us after this training, we do have a media kit, which has everything you need for, store, if you want to put up a sign like this in your store, images, all that kind of stuff, to be able to use there. And again, here's our email address right here. That's my email address, william@greenjuju.com. But you can even email Kelly if you email Kelly@greenjuju.com. They're very hard to figure out. We're very incognito with our email addresses. So with that, I'm going to go into the chat. I'm going to see if there's questions here. Okay, so it looks like Kelly is it looks like Kelly's answering me. So yes, I will fight to keep the 7.5 ounces. So Karen says, do the freeze-dried greens have to be rehydrated? It's better if they are, but I'm also just someone who likes to rehydrate like every food if you're feeding things that are dried out, but they don't have to be dehydrated or rehydrated if you really don't want to. So side note, no, but preferably you would be doing that, because remember, it's a good thing to tell your customers that water and moisture is the delivery system of every nutrient. So one of the reasons cats have so much kidney disease is because they're constantly taking in so much protein without any moisture. And so all of these things, matter. And so I would highly recommend that. You don't have to be exactly precise. You could mix this with kibble and then just, put a little water over both those, or the bone broth or whatever. The other thing I was going to mention without mentioning anything is if you guys are excited about these products, which I'm just really jazzed to be part of Green Juju, but all of the sort of the the base products that we have, you know, in the blends and being able to do that. And these new products that I got to work on with Kelly, we're working on some really cool stuff as well. So I think if you guys are excited about these products, 2022 is going to be a really neat time, I think, for stuff that we're doing. So super, super excited about that. Obviously, that's all I can pretty much say. But I think you guys will be excited. So Tara says, what makes the freeze-dried duck orange? So what makes it orange is the orange vegetables that we use in it. So we are using squash, carrots, and turmeric in this one. That gives it its orange hue, because all of these, so we have bison green, beef red, salmon blue, and duck orange. So all of those focus on those specific antioxidant color types through foods. So there you're going to get your beta carotene and your, you know, other antioxidants in terms of doing that. So and it also sounds very fancy. Duck orange. Duck orange is how you should pronounce it to your customers. So I have been making dad jokes even before I was a father. So I am a pro at this, if you're rolling your eyes at me right now. So let me know if you guys have any other questions. Again, please reach out to us if you do have any questions after the fact. I just genuinely appreciate that you guys want to come and learn. I also just genuinely appreciate all of you for doing what you do. It's not an easy business to be in, and you guys are making the lives of animals better every single day, and it's a really big deal. And like I said, we're a small company, so you know, we don't have salespeople. We don't, you know, we're not doing that. And so you guys play a huge role in what we do as a company. So we appreciate you every day. So every time somebody is, you know, mad and the customer is yelling at you, just think to yourself, Billy appreciates me. You don't have to do that, but hey, we're here. So let me know if you guys have any other questions. Otherwise, we will call it an evening. So, and if you have any questions you want to say out loud, that's fine. If not, that's fine as well. And this training, or a training much like it, because we did 4 of these this week, will also be on our YouTube channel soon. So if you want to reference this, we can also send you a PowerPoint with some of the things that I mentioned on this too. So please email us and I will be happy to send that out to you. We'll send you 2 PowerPoints that will have a lot of this information on there. So all right, I will, with that, thank you guys so much for coming, and stay tuned on our social media. Follow us on all that stuff for new information, for education, all those great things. And thank you guys, and we will see you soon. Everybody have a good night.